digital arena, on the app, on your smartphone, on X, YouTube, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Expect the unexpected.
The Donut Bag presented by The Sportscast.
The Donut Bag, hosted by Joey Bag of Donuts. And here's your host, Joey Bag of Donuts.
Hello.
Have we all recovered?
Have we all recovered? No. I just saw a thing that when you're old, if you lose an hour of sleep, it takes you like 4 days to recover. And I lost about 5 hours of sleep first day night. So I'm going to recover sometime in July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Before we talk about the draft, we got to talk about the draft in Pittsburgh. I went down Thursday night, not expecting anything. Actually, I just went down with a group of people, and I was just there for the ride, and it's like, okay, whatever. And it was actually a great experience. Mm-hmm. We parked near Market Square, didn't pay that much for parking, and just had to walk a little bit. But Market Square had a lot of stuff going on. I didn't really see the stuff in Point State Park, but it was just extremely organized. It was actually possibly a little bit too organized if you ask all the businesses down there. But my only complaint is they didn't let you sit down. Like, you weren't allowed to bring a chair. So old farts like me had to stand for. I was there for 6 hours. Like, I was dying at the end. I just wish they let us sit down. That's all. But otherwise, it was just a really cool event. It was like a festival. And nobody was upset. Like, everybody was happy. I saw fans from all different kinds of fans. We were all just cool with each other. There was like no reason to hate on each other. It's not like, when the Steelers are playing a game and, you see fans from the other team, they want to they want to win and somebody's going to be happy. Somebody's like, we're all just chill. It was a great experience. Did you experience that too, Dave?
Oh yeah, it was completely fun. Like, I went down on Friday. I actually used one of the park and rides from Monroeville Mall. It was great. The mall was, and I got the bus around 2:30ish or so, and the park and ride was almost full at that time in the afternoon. So went down, saw the Arts Landing part, went down to the Point, did the stuff in Point State Park, and
Penguins just scored, I think.
Okay, I'm about to say, you're scaring me. I don't know.
I was like, I wasn't ready to see what you were saying. I was like,
no. I thought, I didn't know if it was a good thing or a bad thing about the hockey team. I knew it was hockey team related. I didn't know.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. The Flyers scored. Okay, bad thing.
No.
Huh. Okay, never mind. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. No, and I will say this. I did the stuff on both sides of the Point Bridge, the one side and the other side. Had the food there, took the Gateway Clipper from downtown to the north side, walked around there. By the time I did all that, that was 4 hours just doing that.
Jeez.
So, yeah, would I have time to go anywhere else to a business that wasn't around the draft? No, I wouldn't. I mean, if I'm there for multiple days, that's different. In fact, I don't know if, what they needed, if they really wanted people to get away from the draft to surrounding businesses, is like a, not a bus even. You have that, you have the little trolley that goes around for a tour, something like that. They
could have done something like that.
Yeah, something that would do a
yeah.
loop around where the entrance and exits were around and back. Because even going to the strip district, no one's going to say, "Hey, I'm going to take a 2-mile walk from Point State Park to go down the strip district and a 2-mile
Right.
walk back,
Right.
and then do the draft."
Unfortunately, a lot of businesses, and I'm sure they were told this too, but they're just, assumptions that, hey, there's going to be several 100,000 people down here. Make sure you gear up. Make sure you prepare for this. And it was actually the opposite. It was probably worse than a normal weekend they would have, and that just really stinks for the local businesses. But
I agree.
I mean, but what are you going to do? I mean, it's, we were preparing for Armageddon, remember we've been talking about this for months. Like, oh my God, how is Pittsburgh going to handle all these people? Oh my God. And like
easily, the answer is easily.
It did a great job of handling everybody. I believe there were no arrests. And it's just so nice to hear. Like, I've heard so many times people's like, oh, this is my first time in Pittsburgh and I love it here. This is a cool city. It's so underrated. Like, I love hearing stuff like that. So
yeah, the compliments
overall very, very big success.
Yeah.
I think it translated on TV too. I think it was just a really cool spectacle.
And we had two of the nicest days in April in Pittsburgh in years.
Right. You cannot ask for better weather. It was like 70s or low 80s. It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was absolutely
perfect sunny day, no breeze. Like I said, mid 70s, no rain. I mean, the rain was Saturday morning, but the rain stopped before the draft started back up.
Yeah. Yeah. So on to the draft. Who did I know when we talked about draft targets? I know Mekhi Lemon was one of them. We're talking maybe tackle, maybe wide receiver, maybe safety, maybe cornerback. My hope was Mekhi Lemon. But it's like, well, if we got to trade him, and I figured the Rams would be a perfect place to trade. They're at 13. We could trade up. We have draft capital. Let's go get him. Well, at 13, they do not trade. They get their quarterback, Ty Simpson, which surprised a lot of people.
Yeah.
And just threw everything for a loop. It's like, okay. And then the Ravens picked, and then a couple other teams picked, and they didn't take Lemon either. It's like, whoa, is Mekhi Lemon going to just fall to them, or are the Steelers going to have to trade up? And then it gets to pick 20, Dallas. And I'm sure the Steelers thought, well, nobody's going to trade with Dallas. Dallas is going to take somebody, and then we could just pick up Lemon. And they actually called Lemon when it didn't even have the pick. And he said, oh, wait a minute. Philadelphia just traded for me. And Philadelphia swiped him from the Steelers. I am so at the time I was so angry. I'm still I just think it was embarrassing. There was no need for that. I'm sure a million times during NFL drafts, teams get the pick that they want swiped. I'm sure that happens all the time, but we don't know about it because the other team isn't arrogant enough to call them a couple picks before you're supposed to pick and say, hey, we're going to pick you. I just think, am I blowing this out of proportion, or was this a complete fiasco?
It was a fiasco. I think, number one, they were so unprepared. I think the plan, and it's starting to come out, was to draft Simpson. I think it was to go quarterback.
Really?
And then when the Rams drafted him, that threw everybody for a loop and everybody into a bit of a tailspin. Then I think what they said was, well, okay, if Ioani's there, we'll take Ioani. And the Ravens got him, which pissed me off to no end. But then I think that, no problem. We need a receiver. We'll go for the receiver. We really like Lemon for some reason, which bothered me a bit because my only knock going on the Lemon was, if you pay attention, any of the pundits were saying was a lot of the teams, and we're talking like 18 or so teams, said he just interviewed horribly at the combines. He was a horrible interview. They did not like him, and they expected. So a lot of them were predicting he may fall off to very late in the first round, if not second, because he did so poorly. And here come the Steelers. They got him on the phone, and he said, "Why is Philly calling?" And I'm thinking, "Oh no, oh no." And so then you end up with who you end up, and it was almost like we've all been there in fantasy football when you're like, okay, these are my targets in the first round because I'm kind of picking in the mids, right? You know, at least for a 12 or 14 team, if you're picking in the mids, the Steelers are kind of picking in the mids. And you're saying, well, here's my target. Okay, he's gone, no problem. I have my backup. Then your backup's gone. Now all of a sudden, okay, Dave, Joe, it's your pick. You're like, uh-oh.
You're scrambling.
You're flipping through your magazine and your tablet, and you're like, oh, crap.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, we have only 8 minutes. We're going to take this guy. And it was just like, he was a pretty high-rated tackle, but I don't think it was the Steelers guy. I think it's who they chose at the last minute, and it really just set up to look. And what bothered me, and I know it probably shouldn't, I'm probably being trivial about this, but how can you look like that big of an ass when in front of all your fans when it's in your city?
Yeah,
that bothered me. Yeah, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
I agree. That screamed to me. We have honestly, if we got this tackle instead versus Ty Simpson, I'm happy because I'm not happy with Drew Allar being picked. I didn't think we needed to pick that one that high, but I'm not the quarterback guru whisperer. But making yourself look like an idiot, which is they looked stupid, and then you lost your player. What's your backup? Now, what definitely could have happened is they were like, okay, we can trade back. We can trade back. Who can we trade back with in the first round? They start calling because at that point you got 8 minutes, and do you want to trade back? No, you don't want to trade back. So they're going down the line, and they're probably getting nobody, and they're like, okay, we have a minute and a half left. No one can trade. No one wants our first round draft because they know that what happened. Who do we got left? Now, I would have liked it if they would have taken one of the wide receivers who got by the end of the first round. Okay, you would have reached up a little bit, but you're still
no Mark Cooper. They would have been fine. Yeah,
but they were like, okay, they may even at a point said, okay, who has the highest ceiling? Not who's ready to go now, who can help us in the next year or two, but who has the highest ceiling of people left. This guy's only played football for 4 years, but if you look at him, he's got everything. And who knows, we're going to hear Broderick Jones, it may come out, he's not going to be ready till mid-year maybe. But honestly, and I kind of feel, it sounds bad to say I feel sorry for a first-round draft pick. But by mid-year, if Max is still in there, and depending on who moves where, and you hear people saying, are they going to move, where are they going to move this person to and this person? Are they going to switch side? If he's having a year as a tackle and he's starting, he's playing, but he's just doing okay, and Mekhi Lemon's having a breakout year, people are going to compare their 2 first years. And nothing Max would do. He didn't do anything wrong. He's going to get shoved in a place where people around here are going to compare these two, compare their careers.
I hope Mekhi Lemon, when the Eagles play the Cowboys, I hope he scores 5 touchdowns every freaking game. Why do you think the Cowboys traded with their division rival? Is it to stick it to the Steelers or to stick it to Mike McCarthy? Jerry Jones wanted to stick it to Mike McCarthy. I don't know, but I think it was personal.
Well, Jerry Jones already fired him, so I don't know how much more you can do it. But, that's something I thought of too, Joe. Maybe there was something said, maybe there was whatever, and you're like, I'm gonna stick it to you. So I think it's a fair point that could have happened. And then, but honestly, I'm kind of glad with some of the other things you've heard about Lemon. We kind of dodged a bullet, and I think we may have. But to Dave's point, Cleveland got 2 really good wide receivers I would have liked.
Mm-hmm.
And Joe even said in the last episode with Boston being 6'4", he's a perfect outside guy. Now, we also needed a slot receiver. So their pick on Jeremy Bernard is actually a pretty good pick.
Yeah.
So that was one of the picks I did like that they made. He feels that well. And, if you saw him, which Alabama football is on TV all the time, I'm sure all of us looked and watched him play, just didn't realize we were watching him at the time, I guess. But I think they got a decent receiver. The whole thing was just like, are you kidding me? We're screwing this up right now. And I don't know. It was just bad. And then we got a tackle. But again, I do feel, and just playing in that position for years of my life and coaching, that neck injury could be worse than mid-season, Dave. That could be,
I think it's career threatening.
It could be career ending, unfortunately, for the young man. It is what it is at this point. Did we get out of him what we wanted to? No. But he may just not be able to go back out there.
Yeah. I mean, I think Asante Samuel Jr. just had that kind of surgery too, but it's just very iffy. It's just, that is career threatening, definitely. Yeah. So yeah. And it's funny because about a week ago, Adam Schefter put out a report like Broderick Jones had a setback in his thing, and then they asked Omar Khan and Mike like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. All is well. There's nothing to see here. All is well.
Oh my God, look at that.
But yeah, obviously their actions speak that Broderick Jones is probably done. And then what kind of annoys me is, okay, he's this inexperienced lump of clay. That's kind of what they said about Broderick Jones. Like, are we really doing this again? Yeah, he might be good, but like, when is this guy going to start? When is this guy going to be able to play? Is he like a development thing? Is he going to have to sit a year? I don't know.
Well, that's what I meant by the analogy or the comparison that you and I are all sitting in a draft saying, oh no, but we do need a tackle, because I think they knew they needed a tackle. But then they go get the kid that only started playing here in junior college. So again, we're right back to where we started with like these guys that have only played for a little bit. Give me one of these guys that want to stay in college for 11 years. And, it's just, why did we get this guy? And now you're right back to, well, he's got to be developed. We'll probably talk about that with a few more of these picks, but
I'm really hoping, because he was a right tackle in college, right?
Yes.
And we have a right tackle. So
now we're going to have to move that right tackle to left tackle.
Oh, but are you going to move Max to left tackle? Which I
think the plan is to move Fautano to left tackle.
Right.
But who knows?
Right. And honestly, with the guard they got, the offensive line still doesn't look bad.
It better not be. They spent so many damn draft picks on it. They better be good.
Well, hey,
I agree.
We all know people. We all know teams. Cleveland, and they drafted another quarterback. By the way, another quarterback. We all know teams who draft, and it doesn't work out. But one thing, and I was thinking this on the bus ride home after I heard the Drew Allar pick, and after I got over that they did what. This is a complete, even though Omar Khan's still there, this is a completely new coaching staff, top to bottom, offense and defense. And I think defense is going to see the bigger change, because a lot of people went in thinking, okay, well, based on last year, here's where they're weak and here's where they need to get people. Well, you're actually having a defensive coordinator now. So he's coming in, the new offensive coordinator, So they have like, oh, I see this person here and I've seen the tape and I think this and I think this and we're going to change this around, do this. So that just completely unfortunate. I hate to say, look at a lot of beat writers and reporters. Not saying that they're young little kids, but if let's say you're 35 years old, okay, and you're a beat writer, you're a reporter, you're writing, on the Steelers. Since you were in high school, the only Steeler coach that you know is Tomlin.
Right.
And you've been watching the Steelers so long that that's your mindset of a Steeler player is what Tomlin wants. We have to switch out. We have an offensive coach. For the first time since 1968, we have an offensive coach.
Well, they went pretty heavy on the offense in this draft. So that was pretty evident that he was there. Day 2 didn't have a problem with that. And again, noted by my buddy who's joined us today, Jennings Dunker's cousin, Joe Dunker. I really enjoyed that pick too. Just a Big Ten guy and being at a couple of Penn State, Iowa games. He was a guy that came to my attention just watching him play. He's nasty. He's aggressive. He's fun. He's a guy that I think is going to make an immediate impact. I have more faith in him making an impact than the tackle, which apparently none of us can say his name. But, I think he was a great pick. And he was good and started out good. And then it started going downhill because I'm not a fan of Dalen Edwards. I hope I'm not jumping the gun here, Joe, on how much you want to talk about these guys, but
sure, yeah, let's talk about them.
Dalen Everett is a depth at best for me. He didn't test well, didn't do well at the combine, and he had difficulties matching up against elite wide receivers in the SEC. Good freaking luck with that in the NFL, young man.
Right.
Maybe he's going to be over to special teams. It seems like we're doing a little bit of overhaul. Well, actually, a little bit of an upgrade on special teams, which was needed badly. But I really, really loved. I really loved the pick with Dunker. He could be like a next Brett Kiesel as far as a fan favorite. A guy that will show up to anything and everything. Do the Steelers PR, do the commercials, whatever it is. He's going to be a guy that Steelers fans are going to embrace for a long time.
He seems like larger than life. He seems like he's not a real person. He's like a cartoon character or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, and his first thing, are they going to bring in a hail bale so he can start tossing it?
I'd love it.
They should do that as part of training camp. Wow. I mean, hey, out in Latrobe, you have no problem finding hail bales.
Yeah, it's right across the street.
Seriously.
And especially the one, this was the pre-draft thing, someone talking about his meals. Well, I eat this at 6, and then 2 hours later, I have a couple of cheeseburgers from Culver's, and I have this, and then I wake up in the morning and I have pancakes and eggs and 2 chicken breasts, and then 11 o'clock I have another chicken breast.
And like during the game, he's pounding coffee, and it's just if I look at food, I gain weight, and this dude is just pounding like 20,000 calories a day with no problem. Dang.
Yeah, Culver's is good too. We don't have one out here.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I've gone to them several times in Iowa. They're pretty good.
What is it? What is like the Pittsburgh equivalent of Culver's? I don't know if I've ever been there.
Well, we don't even have one anymore. Like we had the Hardee's over there in was that Etna? Etna. We had one in Etna and another one, but those are both gone. And so I mean, maybe the Eaton Park cheeseburger and breakfast menu.
Okay.
And then no salad bar or anything like that. But similar to that, and it's good stuff. Really, really, really good French fries, or like steak fries. So, but anyway, really like that pick. Really, really enjoyed the wide receiver. And then are we just gonna dive into Drew Allar? Are you guys?
Let's do it. Let's go.
Penn State perspective. I'm glad I don't know if you listened to it on the Fan today. They had Terry Smith. And he said what I said. Drew Allar has all the ability to do what you need him to do. But he was, and I'm not making excuses for the kid, he had some inconsistencies. I posted on Facebook that, he's a project. He's a project partly because he wasn't brought along well at Penn State at all. Franklin gave him nothing to throw to. Now, he had Tyler Warren. When he had Tyler Warren, this is one of those things, it's like a Dan Marino thing. He had a better junior year than he had a better senior year. Yeah. He had a guy like Tyler Warren who just pretty much is almost rookie of the year in the NFL this year for the Colts. So give this kid a receiving core and a decent set of tight ends. Who knows what he could do. There were some inconsistencies, though, in this year's play. So we'll have to see. They either could have found a diamond in the rough, or it could be a Todd Blackledge thing. I don't know. I am certainly not ready to say it was a bad pick, horrible idea. I am open to seeing how he goes. The only thing that's out there, guys, is if Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, as far as I care, he can just leave and not come back at this point. If Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back, is that what you're doing? Is it's the Howard and Allar show and Mason Rudolph still the backup? And that's whoever wins it in camp is who's starting week 1, because that'll be fun. But if Aaron Rodgers comes back, who do you cut?
Well,
Mason.
That's the thing. I would have to think it would be Mason. Here's what I think would happen. If I'm sure I made a prediction that the end of May is when Aaron Rodgers is showing up, because the way they're doing OTAs is like Tomlin would do all the voluntary ones first and then the mandatory one at the end, but McCarthy does the mandatory one in the middle. And I think the mandatory one is like beginning of June. So I think Rodgers will sign end of May, which means we have another freaking month of waiting for this person to decide whether to show up to work. But anyway, let's say Rodgers comes back, and then you would have Rodgers, Mason Rudolph, Drew Allar, Will Howard. Just like last year, you had 4 quarterbacks last year. You had Aaron Rodgers, Mason, Will Howard, and Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson I think he got beat up in Ireland or something like that. So he had some mystery injury, and he had to be put on injured reserve. And oh darn, we're gonna have to keep you on the team, buddy. But you're just gonna have to be injured. Oh no, it was Drew Howard that got hurt too. So I think somebody's going to come down with some injury.
Let's say Howard got hurt before the preseason last year.
Right.
So he didn't even play in the preseason. He did nothing last year.
I don't know if he got placed on injured reserve or how that worked, but I think that's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to get stashed away. Allar is going to, who knows? He'll trip over something down at Sharky's or something like that. He'll trip over a sandwich.
Let me ask you something. Let's say we get near the end of the training camp and we still have the 4 quarterbacks. You think you can get a 6th round for Mason? If a team is
that what you want though?
But honestly,
is that what you want? Is Mason to be gone and either Will Howard or Drew Allar to be your primary backup? I don't know. I would want Mason as my primary backup.
Honestly, though, right now, I don't think does it help the team, because you figure right now Mason is not your long-term answer. Mason is basically your backup. No matter, next year. The best case scenario for Mason in 27 is being a backup. So I'd rather have, the young kids, second and third string, getting second and third string reps instead of Mason getting your second string rep, someone getting whatever left over, and then someone not even getting any. And like I said, if you get near the end, you get a team that's like, okay, we're set. We don't have a good backup. We're a good playoff team, but we want to have a break here for emergency, quarterback, and we don't have that right now. If we can get a 6th round pick for Mason for next year, But
that's just it. What is this team? are they in win now mode, or are they developed for the future mode, or are they trying to do both?
I think they're trying to do both, but
I think they're
since
trying to do both
Tomlin
also.
left, but since Tomlin left, we're less in win now.
I think if there's 3 guys doing a Rams podcast, they're probably asking the same thing tonight. Like, are we win now after making that
Boy,
pick,
that
or
got
are we
awkward.
Because I thought for sure they'd go for a wide receiver. I thought one of the big names that we kind of were talking about last week, Joe, would go right there. And I'm like, oh my God. But no, it's going to make for some interesting drama and theater over the next couple months. That's for sure. I'm not so sure I disagree with Dave, but if they're ready to roll right in there with Aaron Rodgers at the helm and 2 rookies, non-experienced guys in the back, I guess, I don't know. Anthony Richardson's out there now saying he's demanding a trade. It's starting to seem like the trend. Let's stockpile on quarterbacks, ask the Browns, and, to hell with it. If guys get injured, we're just going to throw them to the feet of the fire. And then the other thing is you have less preseason games to see who you like. I mean, obviously, Will Howard's got to get a start, if not 2. Drew Allar should get a start, or you're going to really heavily have to split first, second quarter, third, fourth quarter. I don't know. It's going to be really interesting because Aaron Rodgers, if he comes back, is not going to play in the preseason.
Oh, God, no.
At all.
No. And Mason really doesn't have to. I mean, it would help, but, in terms of he shouldn't, to get ready, if he needs to get ready even, he doesn't have to be out there. And I'd rather have the, honestly, I want to see the Ohio State and the Penn State fans start screaming at each other.
Here's the thing. That is, I almost think that they just made the pick just for us to talk about something for the next 6 months, because Drew Allar is sports talk radio gold. Are you Are you kidding me? Because right now, as soon as the pick was made, it was like there was a civil war. And on one side is the Penn State fans, and the other side is the non-Penn State fans, and the Ohio State fans and the Pitt fans. For once, Ohio State and Pitt are forming an alliance, and they say, we hate Drew Allar. Hey, I'm as big of a Pitt fan as it gets, and I'm excited about Drew Allar, and I'm happy about the pick because, as you say, as the cliche goes, he is 6'5", 200 some pounds, big hand, every single thing physical trait you want in a perfect quarterback, and you can't teach that. You could teach the other things. You could teach him all the other things. And Darren, I agree. I think he got screwed at Penn State.
Yeah,
I think between the coaching staff and not having the right players. It wasn't all. I mean, he didn't. It was all on him also. But still, I think he got screwed in Penn State. So I'm excited about it.
Wait till you see his arm strength. I mean, it was always on display. It just was like, it was like throwing to one of us. I mean, it was just like, holy crap. I mean, guys, he was there, the ball was there. Why weren't you there? Kind of thing. And, a lot of it was, not last year before when he's throwing to Tyler Warren, he didn't need to throw it deep. But the guy's definitely got this $1 million arm. And who knows, maybe under Mike McCarthy's guidance, he does. But don't forget, Will Howard had a hell of a NCAA career with the national title to go with it. And
Will Howard has good physical traits too, and that's the fun thing. You know what? It's basically just a lottery ticket. And well, first, Alexander, I want to get to your first part. What is it? What is this? Jesus Christ! It's a 3rd round pick. Who cares that we selected Allar and he has NFL traits, a great arm strength? Okay, here's the thing. It's a 3rd round pick. Does this mean that they're not going to pick a quarterback in next year? You're damn right they're going to pick a quarterback next year. You know what? Keep picking them.
I don't think, because this was not a rich quarterback draft, I don't think Drew Allar would have made it to the 4th round. You see the kid even out of Vanderbilt, he barely signed on with the Jets today.
Yeah, he's the opposite of physical traits. He's a very small person.
Right. He's a guy that needs a step stool in the kitchen. And,
But Darren, do you think he could have made it to our second, third round pick?
Well, apparently not, because I don't know. I mean, that was the criticism, is why was he drafted?
Why
like,
was
the
it
first
yeah,
one?
I mean, like I said, my problem was not necessarily they got him, but there were so many big holes. Nose tackle, linebacker, defensive back, safety. Was there anyone that we could have gotten there that would have plugged a hole, and then would anyone between, or hey, we move up and use one of our 6 rounders?
Maybe he got scared because of what happened with the Mekhi Lemon thing. It's like, I don't want to lose the guy I want to.
No, it would not shock me if that was the case.
Well, and it was no secret, and just from my connections at in-state college media, it was no question the Steelers were pretty high on him. They were at the combine. He was the first player they invited to Pittsburgh. He was the first. The Steelers were the first team he interviewed with at the combine. They were in state college for the pro day. I mean, it was evident they really liked Drew Allar. So
there's a couple things about this whole Mike McCarthy's role in this draft. Mm-hmm. He did not attend a lot of pro days, but you also have to consider he was putting together a staff, after he got hired. So he was busy. Also, he was late into the process. So really, this is probably Omar Khan and Andy Weidel's draft. But I'm sure Mike McCarthy said, hey, no matter what, I want Drew Allar. I'll bet you he said that.
I agree.
So Omar Khan did not take a chance. Yeah, you could have got another pick, but you know what? There was a lot of picks in this draft that were questionable in terms of who they got. Like the 4th round, was it the 4th round pick was basically a returner, and that's it?
Yeah. Just because Alexander took time to comment. Alexander, I do agree with your comment about Josh Allen arm strength. Just seeing him so many times in practice and on the field and in games. Josh Allen arm strength, absolutely. That's a good comparison. I really like Caden Wagen as a pick because I think he's the best returner to come out of college football in 15 years. I don't like where they picked him in the 4th round.
That's a thing. They could have gone. Like a lot of mock drafts had the Steelers taking him, but like in the 7th round, not the 4th.
And I think that this is the thing that I know we're way early. But I think, besides saying, is it a good draft, bad draft? We won't know that for a couple of years. You never know. But it's going to be one of those drafts where people are like I said, Drew Allar, I like the pick, not the first round, not the first pick of the 3rd round. A returner being in your 4th round. It's just having a defensive tackle in the 6th round where that was kind of a need. Cam Hayward's going to get old eventually.
He's old now.
Believe it or not. But he's going to start playing old.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah.
He's not playing old. Cam is not playing like the longtime veteran he is. He's not getting injured. He's playing at a high level. It's going to start catching up.
I could already tell you what the Steelers draft is going to be next year. 1st round quarterback, 2nd round wide receiver, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th is going to be defensive line. That's how it's going to go. Yeah, this 6th round pick, Gabriel Rubio, nobody heard of him, and he was on Notre Dame's team, the most popular team in the most popular college team in the country. Nobody had any. All of the experts had no information on him.
He was hurt.
There was no need to draft him in the 6th round. No, he could have made him an undrafted free agent.
I agree. He was in the 500s on the big board. Part of what hurt him this year was he didn't play a lot this year. He played last year. He played well, in fact, against Penn State in that playoff game. He played very well against Loanee. Yeah, I agree. Totally, Joe. My first thought when they picked him was undrafted free agent. You could have had him there. Mm-hmm. So wasted pick. Yeah, I agree. 100% with you.
Yeah. And then so it was Robert Spears Jennings, a safety in round 7. I really don't know that much about him. But then in the 7th round, Eli Heidenreich. This looks like I don't know. He looks like, first of all, it was the most perfect thing ever. The Mount Lebanon, the kid that went to Mount Lebanon, he was in the Navy. He was in his naval uniform.
With the terrible towel.
With the terrible towel. He was in the green room, and he comes out, and that was just like something out of Central Casting. It was like such a wonderful moment. But he looks like a dude. He basically looks like Christian McCaffrey.
The one thing too, I agree, and that was kind of a fun story. And now he's the guy that I think a lot of Steel fans are going to hope that works out. I really do. I hope he does too. A couple things you could do with him. He might just be a special teamer, but you could put him in other areas. The other thing with Wagen, and I immediately thought of this, it was the Penn State game. They were getting ready to play them, and they did a pre-week interviews. And Coach Ferentz, even they asked him, why don't you use him more in the offense? And Coach Ferentz came right out and said, because he doesn't comprehend our playbook. He said that.
Oh my God.
He said that right in the interview that he doesn't comprehend our playbook. Now you got a better grasp because you look at this kid like, wow, why can't we line him up in the slot? Can we run him out of the backfield? So he's going to be a straight up kick return. And if that's all he is in Pittsburgh, I'm fine with that. But that's the only thing I'll add is I thought that was interesting because the first thing that came to my mind was like, wow, Ferentz is like, you're too stupid to do anything other than return kicks.
Wow. I've never heard a coach say that about a player. That is bad.
Joe, how many years, and Dave, how many episodes have we talked about how the Steelers were notorious for putting I'm surprised they didn't put Jerome Bettis back to return kicks.
Seriously.
Like we've sat there for years watching Barry Foster and the other kid from Iowa, Caleb Johnson. And they put all these guys. You're like, why the hell is he back there? If that's what this kid's going to do and he's going to do it well, then go. Because
it serves a need. Sure.
Because if you watch any of the other Big Ten games, teams were terrified to kick to that kid. Absolutely terrified to kick to him. So he's a great weapon. But yeah, Joe, again, totally agree with you on this kid out of Mount Lebo. What a great story that would be.
And he just seems to be just a gadget guy. Maybe run, maybe a receiver, maybe a running back, maybe any of those things. I mean, fine, just put him anywhere. The other, who was it? The 5th round pick,
the fullback from Indiana.
The fullback, basically Riley Nowakowski. Basically, he's going to be this year's Connor Hayward, but actually good. I mean, no, I don't know. I was never a fan of Connor Hayward, but anyway, but that would be cool if they incorporated a fullback, an actual fullback, not somebody's brother.
Did you see the story where the Steelers actually drafted Rubio's dad back in 1998 and he never made the team?
Oh, geez.
I'm like,
he was traded away. Yeah, he was traded away before the start of the season.
Maybe like father, like son.
Yeah, 8 months from now or 9 months from now, Thanksgiving. Well, Dad, we have a lot of things in common. One thing is we both got drafted by the Steelers and we both got cut or traded, or to Dave's point. So it's
everybody that was drafted by the Steelers can get the first shot at the mashed potatoes or something like that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It was just a weird draft because okay, yes, they needed a kick returner. It's cool they got a kick returner. They needed they needed a fullback, but they act like this is such a Super Bowl roster that we just have these luxury picks. They're like, oh, we have all stars in the first 45 roster spots. We just need these last 5 roster spots just for funsies or something. Like, no, you have a lot of needs. You're not what you think you are. So maybe you should have drafted a little bit for, I don't know, more solid picks, more picks with upside, not just we need a gadget guy specialist.
Dave said it earlier. I would have been totally fine if they would have loaded up on some defensive tackles in here.
Yeah.
I do like Robert Spears Jennings. He's a nice size safety, 6'2", 205. He was the fastest of all safeties in the combine, so he's definitely got some speed. I don't know if they're thinking special teams with that guy, depth guy, but I would have been like, hey, load up on defensive tackles, load up on some other wide receivers. Let's see where it goes. And I would have been a little bit happier with that.
Well, the weird thing is, with the Andy Weidel influence, he was from the Eagles, and his thing is load up on the lines. That's why we're drafting all these offensive linemen. Like, load up on the line. You want a strong line. What about the defensive line? What about like you guys said? Cam Hayward is currently old, and it someday will play old. Like, you can't rely on him all the time. And basically, they got really no replacement for him. No. So that would have been nice. Like, what about the defensive line? But hey, whatever.
I mean, we have 3 edge rushers now, and are we going to keep everyone, or if they're not? If mid-year they're looking average but not great, trade Alex Highsmith to a contender who needs someone at the end for whatever, 3rd round, 2nd round draft pick for next year, something like that.
I was just going to ask that, Dave, if you think there's a possibility he's still going to get traded.
Oh, but the question is, I'd rather keep Highsmith versus Watt for long term. But who's going to take Watt's contract?
The nice nobody. The nice thing about that situation is you have a year to figure it out. There's I believe this is Herbig's last year.
Yeah.
And Herbig's not dumb enough to sign a contract, because why would you if you're about to go on the open market and make a ton of money?
Unless he does like a TJ Watt, we're going to give you we're guaranteeing you a lot of money going out, but yeah. So, but no, I could see him going out and saying, hey, I'm betting on myself this year. If I price myself out of the Steelers market, too bad, I'll go somewhere else.
And if Herbig is so good, maybe they could franchise tag him or something next year or something. Well, that would be, either way, he'd be making a ton of money, but trading Highsmith. And the thing is like, well, what do you do with, 3 outside linebackers? Someone's always going to get hurt.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying who.
You want to rotate. I mean, TJ's getting older. Again, another guy is getting older. Rotate him in and out.
Yeah, the Steelers aren't exactly bringing the youngest team to the NFL next year.
Yeah. Yeah. And they didn't really help themselves with this draft. So,
not in the old
a little bit, but not much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solid. I hate the grading thing because it's like, you got to see how these guys perform and what they do. And like our friend Juan there is talking about bringing Aaron Rodgers back. Aaron Rodgers coming back makes a difference. But, C+, I guess. I don't know if you guys are feeling that, C to C+.
I agree. C+, B-, something like that. It all depends on the tackle. What do they say in the draft? You want 2 or 3 starters out of a draft. I think Jennings is a sure starter, and hopefully that tackle can be something quickly. They're saying that he has like the potential to be the greatest tackle ever or something. Like, okay, but when is this potential? Like, does he even know what a football looks like?
Right?
He does. They also said he's very coachable. Which is
I would put a basketball, a baseball, and a football right there. It's like, okay, which one is your sport, buddy? If you could do this, then maybe if you could pick the right ball, then maybe you could start.
Right now I see the Steelers having 2 starters. Jeremy Bernard as a starter,
right?
Because we're going to need 3 wide receivers a lot. So he'll be wide receiver 3. And and Dunker. Definitely I see those 2 as starters. Honestly, right now, I'm thinking they're thinking Max is going to be a starter on the right side as a right tackle.
Yeah.
And that scares me because Aaron Rodgers is not mobile.
Well, we're saying, oh, let the kids play. Let Will Howard or Drew Allar play or whatever. It's like, maybe not, probably not. But maybe let the kids be on the offensive line. You've put so much draft capital in the offensive line, all these studs these past few years. You know what? Let them go out there, let them work together, let them learn together, because this is going to be your offensive line for like the next 10 years. So you know what? Let them learn together. Let them form a unit. Fine, go. So you know what? Throw the kid out there. Now I don't understand why they're automatically like, oh no, he can't be a guard. He has to be a tackle. Like, well, why? Why? If he's just learning the position, why don't he just learn another position? I would think guard would be easier to learn than tackle, but what do I know?
Well, again, like I'm not afraid to go 6-10 and be picking have a lot better than 21 or 22 every year. So, you know, I know Steelers fans will have a conniption, and I'll, be like, oh my God, it sucks. But you know what? If we get in a better position to draft better next year, maybe you're right, Joe. Throw the kids out there.
Let's say a lot of it also depends on how you go 6-10. There's different ways to go 6-10.
Right.
There's. It sounds weird, but there are times you're out there, you're like, okay, again, this is the first non-Tomlin team or non-Tomlin, non-Tower team since the early 90s, where I didn't think either coach ever lost a team when things were going bad. Either Cower or Tomlin. No, they didn't have guys just, I give up, I'm done. McCarthy, I don't know. I don't know that much about him, but as you're going 6-10, if you see okay, now we have an offensive line. It took us 6 games to figure out and everyone gets solid. Yes, we have this. Yes, we're improving. Yes, the young kids are making mistakes, but they're young kid mistakes that'll get better with practice versus Aaron Rodgers is getting killed all the time because the tackles aren't working out and he can't move out of the way. And we just look bad and disorientated and no one knows what they're doing. That to me is the worst case scenario.
The only thing I like about Mike McCarthy is I think he'd be pretty certain and sure of what he wants. Like, what do we got there? Joe, Al on the Prowl. That's a cool name. Talked about we're playing the NFC South this year, so we'll probably get some wins there. But, throw the Atlanta Falcons in there where there's 7 quarterbacks.
I think the NFC South was a strong division. I don't know what you're talking about. Well, Tampa Bay is a good team. Carolina might be a good team. Atlanta's a joke, but New Orleans might be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's the Atlanta Falcons who have 9 quarterbacks and don't know what to do with any damn one of them.
They're becoming the Cleveland Browns of the NFC, which is pretty cool.
Right. So whatever this does, I think Latrobe is going to be damn interesting this year again. I almost, in a way, part of me, in a way, and you sometimes hear Mark Madden or some of these guys say, what's good for business? Part of me wants to say, I almost wish Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back because I'd like to see what we do.
Yeah.
Training camp is going to be, as the kids say, so lit. Oh my goodness. Because like I said, there is going to be a Steeler fan civil war. On one side is the Drew Allar side, and the other side is the Will Howard side. And we're going to chart every single practice, every single throw in practice, every little thing, oh my goodness. And preseason. Oh, that might be the most watched TV show of the year, might be Steelers preseason games.
And Dave, I don't know, did you hit Latrobe up last year?
No, I didn't. No.
Joe and I even read, because Joe and I went like back-to-back days. Like I was there the day before he was or whatever. And you're not kidding about that, Joe, because remember we commented on the amount of Ohio State and Penn State jerseys we saw even last year. Can you imagine what it's going to look like this year?
Ooh,
I mean, it's going to be nuts this year. You have Steeler jerseys, the number one, but then you're going to have Ohio State and Penn State jerseys wandering all around that place.
It might be like if you asked in the Pittsburgh area, what's your college or what college do you follow? I believe 50% will say Penn State, 25% will say Pitt, and maybe 25% will say Ohio State. I mean, we're talking about a civil war here. It's going to be crazy, and we're going to just analyze every little thing. It's going to be wild.
Yep.
I think about if they start slow, or if they do end up 6-11 or whatever, people are going to say, "Oh, missing or
Tomlin.
do you miss Mike Tomlin yet?
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin would never go 6-11." Like, oh, here we go.
Right, here we go. God.
Yeah. Now he actually had an interview this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that was really the first time he actually talked. And he said a couple interesting things. They asked him, like, why did you quit? And he said, quote, "I thought it was just a good time for me personally. And by that, I mean where I am in my life. And I thought it was a good time for the organization, to be quite honest with you. We didn't have a lot of success in playoffs in recent years." And he said something about he wanted to change it up for the TJ Watts and the Cam Haywards on the team that they might get success. I think that's a bunch of baloney. But anyway, I don't want to get into the rumors. Let me just put it that way. I don't want to get into any of that because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But he also said, they said, well, who's going to be the Steeler quarterback? And he basically said it's going to be Aaron Rodgers. So,
yeah,
we'll see. Now, I mean, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but as soon as it was announced that he joined, they dumped Chris Sims from the broadcast, because I'm sure Mike Tomlin is not making minimum wage to go on TV. So do you think he'll be good on TV? Do you think he'll be good on TV, and do you think he'll ever come back to coaching?
Go ahead, Dave. You go first.
I don't see him coming back to coaching. I really don't. But do I think he'll be good on TV? He'll be himself on TV, which if he draws ratings, that's all they care about. Is he good in the traditional sense, the way? Probably not, but if he draws ratings and he keeps people coming there, that's all they care about.
I think he has a potential to be amazing, but to be good on TV, you have to be entertaining and honest and critical. And I don't know if he has that in him. That's the big question of when players and coaches go into TV. It's like, can you actually be critical and honest and entertaining about it? Because, I mean, we just heard him for 20 years, go on press conferences where he basically said nothing, and he would talk for 20 minutes, not say a dang thing. It's like, well, you can't do that on TV. So he has a potential to be amazing at it, but also, I don't know. I don't know whether he's coming back. I have a feeling this is just a one and done thing, and I think he's going to go back into coaching.
I agree with Dave. I think he's done. I don't think he's coming back to coaching. I don't think we're going to see him with the headset on again. I think that part of his life's over. I don't know. All that stuff you add up to me is charisma. Does he have it? Doesn't he have it? I don't think he does, personally. I mean, his press conferences were boring enough when they would have him in, which was rare. When you would see him do interviews about other things he was doing outside of coaching, it wasn't bad. It was actually kind of charming in a way, because he does a lot of charity work in Africa. Mm-hmm. He does a lot of charity work in Europe. And so that part was kind of charming. So I think it's a lot up in the air. And I'm not trying to be negative Nelly here, but I don't see it. I mean, all the years we had Tomlin, obviously, I just don't know if he has the charisma to be in there and do what he does. But then I didn't think Tony Dungy was all that great either, but they kept bringing him back. I thought Tony Dungy was okay.
Right. Yeah. What's the bar here?
Yeah. I don't know. But Mike Tomlin, I think, is done. I don't think he's coming back for obvious reasons, and I think for some of the other reasons that people don't obviously want to talk about.
I don't know whether this is true or not. I just heard this, but apparently, like, under whenever you see comments under what Tomlin said on Sunday Night Football, Basically, it was all the Pittsburgh people said bad things about him in the comments. Everywhere else outside the country said wonderful things about it, and thought it was great. Which is basically what we've been dealing for the last 20 years. Yeah. Pittsburgh, every time I go on another podcast that's outside of Pittsburgh, and they're like, "How could you be critical of Tomlin? Don't you know he didn't have a losing season?" Blah 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 blah. It's like, and I had to explain every single time why Pittsburghers didn't like him. So well, maybe it'll happen again. It's like, okay, what is this? Since he doesn't win the division, has another lower than expected year, I could see Tomlin in Cincinnati.
No.
Tomlin in the AFC North would be, talk about absolute cinema. That would be like,
it would be.
Imagine Tomlin as like the coach of the Browns or something like that. That would be amazing.
The only reason I'm saying I don't see him coming back to coaching is such a treadmill of doing this, and doing this, and you never have time off. Mm-hmm. And now he has time off. And then to get yourself back at that mental, okay, for the last year, my life's been pretty good. Do I want to go back and start having to do that again? And I'll put it this way. If he didn't win that Super Bowl early on, or didn't go back to another one, I could see that. If he never went to a Super Bowl, I could see him say, look, I have something to prove. But, should he have done better? We can all say yes, but he's still on it, has a resume. He won one Super Bowl. He may back to a second one. They did not lose that Super Bowl against the Packers because of Tomlin.
It's Rashard Mendenhall.
Mendenhall throwing that pick six on the very first play.
If he doesn't coach another game, he probably still makes the Hall of Fame.
Oh yeah.
And then it's on. Then you want to hear comments. But yeah, I mean, just weigh the pros and cons. I mean, look at Bill Cowher. It's like, wait a minute, I could work 20 hours a day and make all this money, but have all the stress in the world and never see my family and never have a life. Or I could work 4 hours a week and make lots of money too and have the easiest time ever. Like, gee, like it's, but yeah. That's the thing. It's like, does he have that itch just to, prove himself, to prove himself again. So,
well, I don't think he'll come back, but as our friend, the $1 Million Man, always used to say, everybody's got a price.
Yeah.
And I'm not so sure the Bengals there, although I like what you said there, Al, on the prowl. I'm not so sure that but a guy like Jerry Jones would throw a lot of money at him, and we'll see there. But the Bengals are, yeah.
Honestly, Tomlin saw the AFC North teams up close. And honestly, if people in Pittsburgh will hate this, if I had to go to another AFC North team, I'm going to Baltimore. Oh. I'm not dealing with the mess in Cleveland or Cincy. No. As an organization, Baltimore is a solid organization. I don't want to deal with Cleveland, and Cincy has, Marvin Lewis. People complain about Tomlin staying too long. Marvin Lewis, he didn't even have the success that Tomlin did, and he never was fired.
Right.
Cleveland, who knows what it's a complete disaster in Cleveland. In terms of you want to succeed in football, you go to Baltimore or Pittsburgh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. We'll see.
Even though that would be the ultimate. Oh God, you want to talk about the ultimate? Now I don't think it's going to happen, but if he went to Baltimore in a couple of years,
in certain situations, Tomlin would. Oh yeah, Tomlin would be a huge upgrade as coach. Mm-hmm. If it's just coaching, there's nobody better. It's all the other crap that all the other stuff that he was not that great at. evaluating players, evaluating free agents, picking coaches, X's and O's, stuff like that. If it's just a matter of being a coach and motivating players, there's nobody better. So it would be really interesting if he came back, and if he comes back, he would be like let's say he spends 1 year at Sunday Night Football and then he's gonna become a coach again. He would be the hottest coaching prospect. He would probably make $30-40 million a year or some crazy thing like that. And don't you think they're gonna say, oh, we want you to be the coach? Like, he would be the coach, the GM, the president, the vice president. He would be everything. So, and I think that would not work at all. But who knows? We'll see. It'll be really interesting because they said they're going to travel every game for Sunday Night Football this year. It'll be really interesting to see when they come to Pittsburgh, how that would go, because I don't think we're ready to welcome him back with open arms. Not that we'd boo him or anything like that, but I don't think we're ready to say, we love you, welcome back. Well, it might get awkward.
I will say it depends on how the team's doing.
Right.
If the team's having a horrible year, you're going to get the "why did you leave us" people.
Yeah. Did you miss me yet? So we will see. But
I just looked up Tomlin's age just because, he's been here forever, but he's gotten older, but he doesn't look like he's aged that
still
much.
Relatively young.
He's 54.
He's 50. Yeah, there you go.
He's 54. So, he could take off 2-3 years and come back and still be not one of the older coaches, probably.
Right. Yeah. We shall see, but oh boy, it's just begun. I'm so excited for Howard versus Allar. I mean, OTAs are coming. We're gonna have OTA stats. We're gonna have how many passes did Drew Allar complete? How many passes did Will Howard complete or something? It's gonna be amazing. And then throw Aaron Rodgers in the mix and let's see what he says about the whole thing. Love it. I love it. Content. Thank you for the content.
Yes.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks so much. Thanks so much. Great to see you guys again. All right, see you.
See you, Dave.
See you later.